The country's capital was supposed to provide a Final Four-worthy atmosphere. There were 4 legendary programs and coaches here, all with big dreams under bright Friday night lights. Caleb Foster returned with inspiration, and Duke's traditional toughness slammed the door shut on St. John's. Then it was UConn on the floor, starting as just a blur to Michigan State before hanging on for dear life to reach yet another regional final. Only the strongest have survived. The Blue Devils, with their unwavering confidence behind the nation's best player and a young head coach that has picked up where the greatest left off. But UConn's stacked squad is just as resolute in focus and purpose, drawing on their past championship experience. The looks, the faces, the tension, it says it all. No one will settle for anything less than the final spot in the Final Four. And indeed, it is in Washington, D.C., where the final piece of the puzzle will slide into place. The Duke Blue Devils, the Connecticut Huskies, to square off in the East Regional Final for a spot in the Final Four. Hello, one and all. I'm Matthew Owens. Welcome to D.C. Thanks for having us in for the most anticipated of the 4 regional finals this weekend. Arizona already into the Final Four along with Illinois and Michigan. Those 3 teams have gained entry into Indianapolis for next weekend. Who will join them? Will it be the Blue Devils from Duke University, or will it be the University of Connecticut Huskies? A glamour matchup and a big-time showdown set to take place in Washington, D.C. The Blue Devils earning a thrilling 5-point victory over St. John's here on Friday night, and UConn, who jumped out to a 19-point lead against Michigan State before holding on to win by just a few points, making it to the Elite Eight. Both of these programs have many wins at this stage of the tournament. Here's the starting lineups. First for UConn, Silas Demery, still dealing with that high ankle sprain that he suffered in the Big East tournament, along with solo ball, Braylon Mullins, Alex Caravan, and Terrace Reed, who has been nearly unstoppable in this tournament. For Duke, Caden Boozer gets the start again at point guard, but Caleb Foster off the bench is available. Isaiah Evans coming off of his 25-point masterpiece against St. John's on Friday, with the freshman from Italy, Dame Sarr, Malik Brown, the chaos creator on defense, and Cameron Boozer, the front-runner for National Player of the Year. Of course, Caleb Foster, what he did on Friday night will forever be remembered with great reverence by Duke and their fans. Only anticipated to play about 8 to 10 minutes in that game. Ended up playing 19 minutes. He scored 11 points. They were all in the second half, as he willed Duke to a come-from-behind victory, a game in which they trailed by 10, coming back to beat Rick Pitino and St. John's. Another Big East foe sits in their way. Dan Hurley, already twice a national championship winning head coach with UConn, trying to lead them to yet another Final Four. It would be their 8th Final Four appearance. For Duke, they are looking for their 19th trip to the Final Four and 2nd in a row. Duke has been in the Elite Eight now in 3 straight years under John Shire, losing 2 years ago to NC State. Last year, winning their regional final against Alabama. These 2 programs own 11 of the last 34 national championships in college basketball. This is college hoops royalty, and it's for a trip to Indianapolis and the Final Four. Malik Brown will jump center with Terrace Reed Jr., and the final piece of the Final Four puzzle is set to be determined. But first, a tip that will do again. And the ball in the air for a second time is controlled by the Huskies of Connecticut. And we're underway in Washington, D.C. UConn gets the first possession. in their dark blue uniforms with white numbers. First time they've worn these uniforms in the tournament, as it's the first time they played in the tournament, not as the higher seed. Immediately an entry feed to Reed, who spins to his left and draws a foul on Malik Brown. Roger Ayers, Tony Chiazza, and Mike Reed, the three that will officiate this game, and already a foul called on Brown on the game's first possession defensively, sending Terrace Reed Jr. out of St. Louis to the free throw line. What a tournament he has had. First free throw is good. He had that incredible 31-point, 27-rebound game in the first round against Furman. Hits the second free throw. It's 2-0 UConn. He was 8 of 16 from the field as he scored 20 points against Michigan State. Here on Friday, he's been in double-figure scoring in every game, just missed a third straight double-double. Duke's first possession, Dame Sarr threads a bounce pass to Cameron Boozer, who goes up, and he had it blocked by Reed, and UConn comes up with the possession. And here come the Huskies with Demery. Dealing with that high ankle sprain, as I mentioned, suffered in the Big East tournament. That kept him out of their first-round game against Furman. Has not been an enormous part of the offense so far in the tournament. Straight away, a three by Solo Ball is around the rim and out. Rebound to Malik Brown for Duke, and ahead for Isaiah Evans. Brown sets a high screen for him. Evans on the dribble, slides inside, gets the ball batted away. It's out of bounds. It'll stay with Duke. Evans was the high scorer on Friday, scoring 25 against St. John's. Going 10 of 15 from the field and 4 of 8 from 3. Caden Boozer trying to get the ball in. He does. Out on the perimeter, front court right to Malik Brown. Swings it left for Dame Sarr. Around a screen. He'll drive to the rim, scoop it up with the right hand, and he spins in the game's first field goal. Sarr equals his point total from Friday. He only had one made field goal and 2 points against St. John's. He scores the first 2 here. Here's UConn back on the ball with Demery. Outside right, pass inside was swatted away by Caden Boozer, stolen by his brother Cam. Outletted for Sarr, given back to Cameron on the curl. He drives inside and finger rolls it in for 2, and Duke has their first lead. Cam trailing the play in transition, and Sarr with a bucket and an assist here early. Silas Demery at the other end for UConn. Left-handed dribble, sprinting to his left, feeds the wing, and Caravan's open for 3. It's well short on his first attempt, and Caden Boozer has the rebound for Duke University. Blue Devils into the front court to our right. Home white uniforms, royal blue numbers and trim. Caden entry feed to Cam. Mid-post right. They come at him with a double. He's used to that. He's had it all year. He hooks a cross-court pass to Sarr. Drives left baseline. Whip to the right corner. Cam's now open for 3. Goes too strong. Caden Boozer inside for a rebound. Back out. Top of the key. Evans up for 3, and he swirls it in. Evans with a good sign early that he comes off the hot game from Friday night and starts by hitting his first 3. 7 straight points to Duke after UConn got the first 2 points. Still without a field goal, the Huskies. Silas Demery for UConn. Drifts to his left on the wing. Feeds it that way for Mullins. Entry feed to Reed. Here's the matchup. Reed against Brown. Reed on a back down. Creates space. Goes to the rim. And knocks it in with the right hand. UConn's first field goal. And Reed has their first 4 points. Patrick Gungba is available to come off the bench, as he has been for the last 2 games. Here's Boozer. Caden accelerating in from the right. Leans in with a runner that misses, but he draws a foul, and it's against Braylon Mullins of UConn, the freshman out of Greenfield, Indiana. And Caden Boozer earns a trip to the free throw line. Cannot be talked about enough what Caden Boozer has done for Duke in the absence of Caleb Foster. When Foster broke a bone in his right foot in the regular season finale against North Carolina, Caden has been tremendous. Knocks down the first free throw. Scored a season-high 19 points in the win they had against Siena in the first round. Had 7 points in 23 minutes here on Friday. Those 23 minutes, by far the lowest minute total that he had since the Foster injury. Hits the second free throw. 9-4 start for Duke. Patrick Gungba into the game for the first time for John Shire. Replaces Malik Brown. Gungba, of course, who missed the entirety of the ACC tournament with soreness in his right foot. UConn ball here with Demery. Two-handed pass to his left. Caravan back outside. Demery catches, loads up a three, comes up short. Reed had the rebound knocked out of his hands from behind by Gungba, and a foul is called against Gungba. And already a foul on each of Duke's big men, Brown and Gungba, trying to go up against Reed on the inside. They each have a foul here in the first 3 minutes and change. Shot clock resets to 20 as UConn gets the ball in. Solo ball, slithers to the left elbow, and his jump shot with a soft bounce off the rim goes down. And Solo ball out of Leesburg, Virginia, not far away from here. National champion 2 years ago with this UConn program. His first points, he had 12 on Friday. Cameron Boozer quarterbacks it the other way, and we have a whistle away from the ball, and a foul here is going against UConn. See how this game is officiated today. We just came off of the game against Tennessee and Michigan, where a lot of fouls racked up early on both teams, particularly Tennessee, between two physical teams, and this one, of course, is a physical game as well between Duke and UConn. Evans will inbound it from underneath with the shot clock recycled to 20. Evans has handed the ball, loops it inside where Gungba catches at the foul line. Now he'll loop it in deep. Cameron Boozer, the catch goes up, had it blocked. He saved it from going out of bounds. Back into the left corner, he finds Dame Sarr, who releases a three, and it rattles home. And Sarr's already got more field goals than he had Friday night when he hit just one basket. He's hit two in the first 4 minutes here. That three puts Duke ahead 12-6. UConn ball at the other end, and it's Solo ball up top for Caravan. Entry feed, high post left. Demery gets it inside. Reed around Gungba goes up for the layup. Evans came soaring in, may have gotten a piece of it. Reed with a miss, and Duke with the rebound, and up come the Devils. And Gungba again with that big-to-big action. In for Cameron Boozer, catch underneath the cylinder. He goes up strong and lays it in off glass. Duke with a good start. Off to a good start against St. John's, too, on Friday, and the Johnnies came coming after them quick with their defensive pressure. But it's 14-6 here in favor of the Blue Devils. At the other end, entry feed, Reed getting to the rim easily, but he missed the layup. Rebound came back to him. He turns, and with the left hand, he softly rolls it in. Gungba defending initially. Reed thought he was fouled, but ended up getting the rebound back, and Terrace Reed has 6 of UConn's 8. Duke ball again. Sarr, entry feed for Cameron Boozer. He's got Caravan on him. Double coming. Cameron whips it cross court to his brother Caden, who knifes in and floats it home with the right. And Duke isn't missing much here to start. Caden with his first field goal. He's got 4. And now Silas Demery for Connecticut. Left-handed dribble, top of the key, swings it left. Caravan looking for space. Entry feed for Reed, mid-post left. He'll go after Gungba. Nearly lost his balance. Regains it, turns right, hooks it up, and off the front of the rim it drops. And Reed is unstoppable early. He's been unstoppable this entire tournament. He's got 8 of UConn's first 10. 31 against Furman, 10 against UCLA, 20 here on Friday as we've got a foul away from the ball. That's against UConn, and that'll lead to a timeout. First media timeout of the evening, and Duke with a 16-10 lead at the first whistle. As we play in Washington, D.C., the East Regional Final, already gaining entry into Indianapolis in the Final Four is Arizona, Illinois, and Michigan. Duke and UConn now searching for a Final Four spot. So, first time out and a good pace to this one to start. Seth Eves joins us for this second game of the day. And Seth, hope you're doing well this evening and a good pace to begin this game.
Indeed so. Indeed. This is, you said it on Friday night. When the game was still in doubt regarding UConn or Michigan State, you said the intensity is going to be amazing. It's going to be high pace. It's going to be high intensity. This is going to be, both fan bases are just going to be absolutely on the edge of their seat for the entirety of the game. While I'm here, I can go ahead and put myself right to work with an update. And it's not going to be a double Duke day, unfortunately, for the Blue Devil fans. UCLA storms back in the second half in that Sacramento pod. They beat Duke 70-58, Bruins, the second team to punch their ticket to the women's Final Four. They go for the second straight year with a 12-point win over the Blue Devils.
Joining UConn, who, as we told you earlier, made it over Notre Dame. And well, that was a big second half from UCLA, wasn't it? Let's see, 39-19 second half scoring.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And but again, they kind of come at you in waves. There's that phrase again, but with just, and they're so big. I mean, you know, when you're playing Lauren Betts, it's just hard to win. Well, Matthew, these two teams, Duke and Connecticut on the men's side, they've got no exciting tournament history.
1990, a regional final in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Christian Laettner buzzer beater that doesn't get talked about very much. And that sent Duke to the Final Four in 90. They played, of course, the national championship game at Tropicana Field in 1999. And then in another Final Four game, semifinal game in San Antonio, 2004, UConn won that one as well, right on cue. CBS brings up the graphics. The one I didn't mention there, a Sweet 16 game in 91, which Duke, of course, won on their way to winning their first national championship. Behind the scenes, I hit buttons, so Seth will see what I see. Very good, thank you. And we get ready for play to restart. Out of our first media timeout, and Duke inbounding far side front court. Isaiah Evans will throw it in. He does to Caden Boozer. Caden places it to his left. Gungba across to the right wing for Cameron Boozer, and his first open look at a three goes down, and Duke's hit 7 of their first 10 shots from the field. And Boozer with a three-pointer puts the lead up to 9. Here's UConn on the ball. Malachi Smith into the game, senior guard from the Bronx. Right-handed dribble with Caden Boozer defending. No sign of Caleb Foster on the floor yet for Duke as Mullins feeds it right, gets it back on a return from Reed. Drives baseline, running floater, and that's strong from Mullins. Freshman had a good game here on Friday with 8 points and 4 rebounds. Caden Boozer into the front court for Duke to our right. Bounce past Gungba, taken 20 feet away from the basket, top of the circle. Swings it right. Cam Boozer the catch. He'll drive. He'll kick to his brother. Caden out of the right corner. Holds on to it with Caravan defending. Hooked back into the middle of the floor. Gungba. He'll launch a straight-on three. That's off the heel. No good. Cameron Boozer through traffic. An offensive rebound. Then back up for it. He goes. Mullins got a piece of the ball. Caravan may have gotten a piece of it too. They call it a jump ball. Possession arrow will keep the ball on this end of the floor with Duke. Shot clock at 18. Gungba doesn't take a lot of threes. Did right there. Not a lot going on in that possession, but Boozer kept it alive. Now the inbound at 2 Cam. He bulls in, kicks out. Gungba bobbled it, fed the right corner. Caden Boozer's open, and he rips the cords out of the corner pocket from 3. And the Boozer twins, who we talked about earlier with Pierre Moss, they don't lose often, high school or college, and they've come out firing here. Early 10-point lead for the Blue Devils. Malachi Smith for UConn. Centered for Reed. Left-handed dribble on the perimeter. Handoff. Caravan around a screen. Can't get free. Feeds it left. Jaden Ross. Entry feed. Reed. They're not coming at him with a double. They haven't all game yet. They're not doing it here. He dances around Gungba to his left, and he lays it in. And Duke might not survive not doubling Reed in the post, but they don't want to leave those shooters like Mullins and Caravan open either. It's one of the great chess matches of this game. Caden Boozer outside left, dribbles in, tries to loft it inside to Cameron. It was deflected. Cameron found it, fed the right corner. Sars open for 3, and that's off the side of the rim and over the backboard. It'll belong to UConn. 12.5 to go in this first half, and now Caleb Foster is going to check in for John Shire for the first time. Malik Brown going to come back in too. So Caleb Foster, 11 points in 19 inspirational minutes here on Friday night on this floor against St. John's. With great tenacity and great courage shown by the junior from Harrisburg, North Carolina. Plays such an integral role on this team, both on the floor and emotionally, and he showed all of that on Friday night. Checks in for the first time, and here's UConn bring the ball into the offensive end with Smith. Scoops a pass to his right, and another entry feed to Reed, who gets right underneath the cylinder with a catch, and he goes up and lays it in. Brown was there defensively, but didn't want to challenge too hard in fear of getting his second foul. Here's Foster into the front court. Malachi Smith stays in front of him and slaps at the ball. Bounce pass directed to the top of the circle to be taken by Brown, who drifts right, feeds Sarr. Sarr then kicked it off his foot out of bounds with good defense from Mullins, and that's a Duke turnover, and it'll lead to a timeout at under 12. Terrace Reed, as we said, unstoppable this entire tournament. And he's been unstoppable to start this regional final. He's got 12 of UConn's 16. Duke with a 6-point lead as we get a timeout on the floor here at the Capital One Arena in Washington. And right now, Seth, no answer for Terrace Reed Jr. and Furman, UCLA, and Michigan State can tell Duke all about that.
I think you hit the nail on the head when talking about the chess match part of it. I mean, how, particularly on the Jon Scheyer end, he knows that if you go one-on-one if you double Terrace Reed, you might stop him inside, but that frees up Caravan, Morris, and whoever else to shoot the good shooters they have. Solo ball can make a big shot. Where on the flip side of that, that's what So you can't do that. On the other hand, he's like, well, I can't leave the shooters open, so I'm just going to go one-on-one and take my chances. Right now, it looks like he's going one-on-one and taking his chances, and it's not real working. So we'll see if he adjusts. Of course, some coaches are stubborn. Tommy Lloyd said in his pre-Elite Eight presser on Friday, he said, I think he said either Friday in a pre-presser or after the Arkansas game Thursday, he said he's not going to change his style. And, I know you want to, in life, people get obsessed with freshening things up, but, say Tommy Lloyd's status quo has worked pretty well for him.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And we'll see if they make any adjustments on Reed. I mean, you are taking a chance, as we've already described and illustrated. You're taking a chance either on him scoring one-on-one down low, which he almost always will, or if you double him, you allow Mullins or Caravan or even a solo ball type guard to get open and maybe shoot threes. What do you feel more comfortable with? One-on-one with Reed from 5 feet away, or open looks from 25 feet away from one of those 3 or 4, if you want to add Demery in there too, who can shoot the 3 at times. So Duke with a great shooting start. They hit 7 of their first 10, but they're only 1 of their last 4. They're 8 of 14 from the field. UConn 7 of 12, most of that coming from Reed, but from 3. Duke has hit 4. UConn's yet to knock 1 down. And, of course, we talk about the strategy of the game, and maybe one of the strategy is to not give Caravan and Mullins and Demery open looks early, and maybe you do counter double Reed later and hope when those guys get looks at 3 that they're rusty because they didn't get looks early. This game, and I don't mean this game between Duke and UConn, I mean this game is in the game of basketball, is so much about risk versus reward and what you're willing to compromise to try to strengthen another area, and these two coaches, of course, are so good at handling the X's and O's of this chess match. Jon Scheyer, at 38 years old, leading Duke to a 3rd straight Final Four, and Dan Hurley, of course, twice a national champion, as UConn inbounds the ball, and Mullins takes a 3 pretty quickly and misses, and in the scrap for the rebound, at last goes off UConn's Jaden Ross, who was boxed out by Nicholas Hamenya, and Duke will have it. So UConn has missed their first 4 from 3. Cameron Booser came out of the game for the media timeout and for about 6 seconds, and now he's right back on. He, of course, doesn't get many breathers. National Player of the Year frontrunner. Hamenya inbounds it to Cameron Boozer, and the Blue Devils bring it up the floor with Caleb Foster. Foster at the head of the key is defended by Malachi Smith. Foster gives it up for a breather to Brown. Now it's back to Foster, now Evans. Foster again off left wing, swings it back this way. Evans takes a Cameron Boozer screen. Evans on the right baseline. Fall-away jumper is good, and Evans has a good shooting touch to start. That is a positive sign for Duke. As good of a shooter as Evans is, he can be streaky as well. One great game followed by a cold one. He was great on Friday night. He's hit his first 2 jump shots in this one. Jalen Stewart feeds Mullins off a screen. He gets open. A left wing 3 goes begging off the front of the rim. Foster rebounds for the Blue Devils. Foster into the front court. Quickly gets it to Cameron Boozer off the head of the key. Now to Jimenez, who tries to curl in from the left, and he draws contact and a foul on the floor. Winner to play Illinois next Saturday in one of the 2 national semifinals in the Final Four. The other semifinal game is going to be generational between Arizona and Michigan. Foster looking to get the ball in. He does on a bounce. Far left corner. Evans backpedaling on the defensive Jaden Ross. Shoots a 3 over the top of him. It misses. Rebound was batted by Foster. He has it. Then he lost it out of bounds. It's off UConn last. Stays with Duke and plenty of time on the shot clock. It's at 19. Eric Ryba, 7'1" freshman from Berlin, Germany, is into the game for UConn. That's who it went off his leg. Foster again inbounds to that left corner, but this time it's to Cam Boozer. He'll post up Stewart. They come at him with a double. Flip cross court. Foster a catch. Extra feed right wing. Evans turns the corner. Drive. Shoveled off for Brown. Extra feed for Jimenez was too unselfish, and Jimenez can't collect it. It's out of bounds. A Duke turnover. That last foul on UConn was their 4th team foul. Thankfully, we don't have the fouls racking up at a rate like we did in our first game today. Ross will go to the bench for UConn. The inbound comes to Malachi Smith. Switches from left hand to right on the dribble as he brings it up the floor, crosses the timing line into the front court to our left. Ryba sweeps it along off the right wing for Malachi Smith. Foster defending. Smith into the right corner. Caravan. Return for Smith. Airborne catch. He'll joust inside on Foster. Hits a runner off the glass, but it won't go. Brown the rebound. Quick outlet for Foster. Foster brings into the front court, cuts right, loops a pass inside, deep catch. Boozer, quick turn to the right, and he hits a fadeaway. Cameron Boozer. And 10 minutes are gone, and it's a 10-point Duke lead, 26-16. Darren Harris takes his warm-up shirt off on the Duke bench. He's going to check in. He played 4 minutes on Friday night against St. John's. Caravan catches edge of the logo 3 from straight away, missed short. Long rebound out to Stewart, who washed it back outside for Malachi Smith, who had an open look, and he drops down a 3, the first for UConn. Smith splashes down a triple. They had missed their first 6 from out there. Caden Boozer also set to check in for Duke. There's a Husky at the scorer's table to check in at the next whistle. Cameron Boozer crossover dribble, lost the ball on the way in, and it's out of bounds. A Duke turnover, their 3rd. And turnovers have been piling up for Duke in games late in the season. A lot of that because Foster hasn't been on the floor as much as he once was. They turned it over quite a bit in the ACC tournament and again on Friday night against that great press from St. John's that can turn over just about anyone. UConn back up the floor. Handled by Silas Demery, who just checked back in. Dealing with that high ankle sprain ever since the Big East tournament. Feeds it left, Ryba. The return for Demery, who cut in and got behind Foster. And to the rim, Demery scores. And it's 26-21. 5 quick points in a row from UConn. All of this happening without Reed on the floor in this cycle. Caden to Cameron Boozer up top. Now Caden again. Blitzed with a double. Into Cam. Back out. Left corner. Foster extra feed. Harris is open. His 3 short. Rebound down to Demery. Demery will jog it up the front court. Jimenez picks him up defensively. Demery dribbled it off his foot. Caden Boozer was there to get the steal. Lofted ahead in transition. Jimenez is in behind Caravan, who does not contest. And the freshman from Los Angeles, Nicholas Jimenez, scores. 28-21. UConn turnover leads directly to points on the other end for the Blue Devils. Now it's Demery at the head of the key. Swings it to his right, Ryba. The return for Demery. Foster stays on him defensively. Demery holds by his left hip. Centered. Caravan catches. He's open for 3. It's an air ball. And Caravan doesn't have his shooting touch early. Out of bounds, untouched to Duke. They'll try to get Caravan open as much as they can on plays like that, because he can be cold at the start, which he is here. He can catch fire at any given time. He hit 3 threes against Michigan State on Friday. He totaled 17 points, and he is a prolific winner, is Alex Caravan, twice a national champion with this UConn team, fourth-year Husky. Gungba checks back in for Duke. And Caden Boozer comes out onto the floor. They've got Caden Boozer and Caleb Foster on the floor at the same time, and they work it inside to Gungba, who bulldozes his way into the rim, and he lays it in with the right. Gungba's first points, and Terrace Reed is back in as well for UConn. They needed him back in on both ends of the floor, but especially this one on offense. Demery takes a Reed screen, curls up the middle, shovels it outside. Ball, top of the key, up for three. Clanks off the rim, no good. Long rebound found by Stewart. Stewart off left arc. Entry feed to Reed. Backs in on Gungba. They come at him with a double here, and Cameron Boozer was the one that helped, and he blocked the shot. Caden Boozer the other way. In traffic. Circus shot thrown up. It's off the mark, but he drew a foul. It's on Jalen Stewart. And just as we hypothesized might happen in the last break, they weren't doubling Reed early. They come with the counter and double him here, and he wasn't expecting Cameron Boozer to soar in from his left. Blocked the shot before it ever had a chance to get to the rim. Timeout on the floor, Duke by 9. Seth, sometimes we do know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should have been coaches. I don't know. We would have made a hell of a lot more money, I can tell you that right now. But whether we were good or not, as it turns out at the college level.
Oh, yeah, you kidding me? Yeah, you could have me for 24 months and then buy me out for 10 mil.
131 to go at Martinsville, and Denny Hamlin has a 3-second lead over Ryan Blaney. I'm adding
hold on. Pause on that. Denny Hamlin leads. Check. That's good news for a certain someone. Where is William Byron?
William Byron. Let's see. They're doing a thing. The leaderboard's shuffling. Well, he's not with the Squirrels, so that's good. He is 8th.
Certain someone needs a few more positions out of him.
I'm sure. Oh, Austin Hill off the pace. He's dead last, 5 laps down, and now he's off the pace. But I'm adding stuff for my stuff for the week, Matthew, and of course we've got a lot of basketball. Women's Sweet 16 tomorrow night. We'll have TCU and South Carolina. So the final piece to the puzzle in that tournament. So that should be a very interesting one. You still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you cut out, I get nervous. I mean, you just absolutely,
I would prepare to be nervous. The moments of not talking and breathing during breaks,
okay.
Might be up
you know what?
Today. No particular reason why they would be up today, but they might be up today.
Right. Right. Adding an NBA game this week.
Hadn't had those in a long time.
San Antonio and Golden State Wednesday night at 10 o'clock.
Man, Golden State. They are in the play-in, but they look destined for the 10 because they've got so many injuries, and they got a game on NBC tonight against Denver where they are heavy, heavy underdogs. Speaking of dogs, one in the crowd.
We'll have the men's NIT semifinals on Thursday. New Mexico, Tulsa, and then Illinois State against Auburn. That should be a lot of fun. From Indianapolis in the Indiana.
Dan Hurley just looking around the arena as Tracy Wolfson asks him a question.
Oh, God, is he giving kissy faces again?
He's just staring.
What are you going to do? You going to mock someone looking around and put that as your Twitter profile picture now?
He's just staring, like, looking around the arena like... Out of the timeout, free throws for Duke's Caden Boozer. Good start to his game. And his first free throw here rattles home. Duke really struggled from the free throw line Friday against St. John's. And free throws are a struggle for this team at times. They rank outside the top 200 in the country, but so does UConn. As Caden knocks down both here, Duke's lead is 11. UConn 222nd in the country in free throw shooting. That's been one of the themes we've talked about these last 2 weeks. So you got a lot of really good teams that are really bad at shooting free throws. These two teams can be called that as well, as Terrace Reed tried to whip a pass inside for Mullins. It's stolen. Sarr in transition. Feeds the right corner for Cameron Boozer. UConn gets back defensively. Duke sets up in the half court. Cameron Boozer mid-post right. They don't come at him with a double yet. Now they do, and he flips it cross court. Himenia up top. Caden Boozer back for Himenia. Head fake. Closes out, drives out the closeout. Goes to the rim and has it swatted away by Reed on a block. Out of bounds, it stays with Duke. Shot clock at 9. It's a good head fake to get by Demery and to drive out that closeout. Actually, it was Demery that got a hand on it. It was Reed sliding over defensively. Demery with the recovery to block the shot. Himenia from underneath to trigger in. 9 on the timer. Loops it into the top of the circle. Gungba catches. They've got to hurry here. Reed pokes it away from Gungba. He recovers. Given to Himenia. Now Boozer. Mid-post left. Cross-court feed. Open out of the right corner. Sarr up for 3. And it's straight down. Second 3 of the game from Dame Sarr, and Duke's lead is 14. And it doesn't take Sarr much to get energized. He hits that 3, claps his hands and waves at the Duke fans. They're up 14 here. Mullins into the front court. Sarr is in his grill defensively. Mullins swings it right. Demery inside. Reed and Boozer over to double. Blocked it again. Out of bounds, it'll stay with UConn, and now the game has changed on the inside now that the Blue Devils have made that counter, and they're starting to double Reed. Boozer has blocked him twice. Demery from underneath will inbound. A lot of movement, but no throw in yet. Now he bounces it into a cutting Caravan, running floater, too strong off the glass, and Reed went over the top of Brown going for the rebound. It's going to Duke. And a 6th team foul on UConn here will put Duke into the bonus, as Reed clearly went over the top of Brown. And Duke with a chance to extend this lead here. It sits at 14. Duke gets to the free throw line more than just about any team in the country. In the bonus for the last 6 minutes here. Boozer on the attack. Himenia screened for him, and then Boozer lost the ball, but I think he had his arm slapped before then. He did. Foul is called on Braylon Mullins. So as I was just saying, Duke in the bonus, they'll get free throws here as Mullins picks up the foul. Cameron Boozer 1-1 at the line. And his first one is good. He was one of the Blue Devils that struggled from the foul line Friday night. One more now for Boozer. Bends the knees, flicks the wrist. Second one is off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Jaden Ross of Connecticut. Silas Demery into the front court. That foul on Mullins was his second. As Demery gets picked up by Brown early, dribbles left and hands off for Ross. He'll weave it to Mullins. Sarr is right in his grill again. Mullins trying to create space from him. They hedge him, and it's nearly stolen on the feed to Reed, who spins by one defender, goes to the rim, missed the layup, and the putback dunk is also missed by Demery. Rebound Duke. Here come the Devils. Caden Boozer outside left. Feeds it into his brother Cameron. Cameron outside the 3 on the far left side. Crossover dribble. He'll attack Reed on the drive. Hesitation, goes up, had it blocked, got it back. Spins. Reed around and fake left, goes right, muscles it up. It's no good. It draws the foul. Another foul going against UConn, and another one that'll put Cameron Boozer at the line. Caravan was the one that got a piece of the ball to start that possession that blocked it. Boozer got it back, and Reed the one that's called for the foul on the shoulder. And Cameron Boozer to the line again. Just went 1 of 2. This was in the act of shooting, so he gets 2 shots and he hits the first. Reed picks up a very critical second foul. See if that means that they've got to go the last 5 minutes of this half without him on the floor. Dan Hurley's going to have to make a very critical decision on that. Boozer's second free throw is skyward and good. He pours it in. Duke is up early by 17. This is by far the best first half Duke has had in this tournament. Demery brings it into the front court. Cam Boozer defends. Connecticut scoreless for 4 minutes. Mullins trying to change that. Can't. On a pull-up from the right elbow that missed badly. Wide left and long. Rebound down to Sarr. Into the front court is Caden Boozer. Picked up by Demery. Boozer runs a bit of clock. Now slashes out wide. Bounce pass for Cam. Knocked away by Demery, and another foul is called. It's going against UConn. More free throws coming for Duke, and it'll be Cam Boozer again. They came with an early double, and it was Demery trying to knife the ball out of his grasp, which he did, but he did so illegally. Mullins to the bench for Dan Hurley. And Boozer to shoot 1 and 1. One more time. Looks at the basket, puts it up, puts it down. He and Caden, his twin brother at Christopher Columbus High School in Miami, Florida, won 4 consecutive state championships, also won a national championship. They've only lost 2 games at Duke University this year. Kenny Smith was making the point on TV Friday night. He wanted to go through and see how many games those 2 brothers have lost, and he really does believe that you can probably count it on one hand. Cam hits the second free throw. Duke, a good sign from the foul line tonight. They've hit 9 of 10. They're on a 14-0 run. Their lead is ballooned to 19. Malachi Smith swings it right. UConn searches for answers. Smith gets it back from Ball. Caravan screens. Hemenia defends. Another screen from Ryba. Smith locked up by Brown, and the pass intended for Ball is knocked away by Brown, who leads the country in defensive deflections, which is apparently a stat we keep now. And Terrace Reed is told to get up and get back into the game by Dan Hurley despite having 2 fouls. UConn will inbound with the shot clock at 7. Reed checks in for Ryba. And now how aggressively will Reed play, particularly on the defensive end with those 2 fouls? Gungba's back in as well. Caravan to inbound just in front of Ian Eagle, Grant Hill, and Bill Raftery. Inbound comes to Smith. 5 to shoot. Smith, head of the key. Crossover dribble on Cam Boozer. He leans in. He spins. A fall-away shot. Had no chance to go. Tremendous defense by Cameron Boozer. It didn't hit the rim. It's a shot clock violation. And the UConn scoring drought will continue. That is Duke's defense at their best. Reed is right back onto the bench. Ryba comes in for him. They only brought him in for that one sequence to try to get a bucket late in the clock. Didn't work. Cameron Boozer into the front court. Gallops forward. Caravan defends. Change of direction. Cam to the rim from the left. Layup blocked from behind. Ryba, the 7-footer, got it. Launched it ahead in transition. Ball to the rim. Hemenia following. Alters the shot and it won't go, but a foul is called on Hemenia. Just the 3rd foul to go against Duke. And it'll be free throws for Solo Ball to try to put it into what is a 14-0 Duke sprint. And Ryba, that's how Ryba can play very important and valuable minutes for this UConn team. His footwork has needed work all year long, and Dan Hurley's been saying that since the start. But he's 7'1", and when you're that tall, you can play a pivotal point in a basketball game. Ball, free throws. First one's good. First point in nearly 5 minutes for Connecticut. Hemenia checks out after picking up that foul. Evans comes in for him. One more now for Ball. From Leesburg, Virginia. Knocks down the second free throw. It's a 17-point margin, as you can see. Duke in the double bonus for the last 4 minutes and change. Caden Boozer races into the front court. Malachi Smith in his hip pocket defensively. High screen Gungba. Caden accelerates. Nearly lost the dribble. Got it back. Oh, wow. And he glides in up the right lane line and floats in a banker over the tenacious defense of Smith. The Boozer brothers have balled out in this first half, and Caden has 11. Might be the most he's ever had in the first half of any game in a Duke uniform. Now Ryba, high to low pass inside, kicked into the corner by Ross for a drive up the baseline by Smith, and he gets to the rim and lays it in. 42-25, UConn trying to get a spurt of energy here. They really need to win these last 4 minutes here and go into the locker room with some momentum. Gungba up top, shoveled it back. Caden turns the corner. Downhill drive to the rim, scoops it up and in! Off glass with the right hand. 13 first half points for Caden Boozer. He only averages 7.5 a game. Malachi Smith into the offensive end for UConn, zigzagging from right to left. Cam Boozer defends, two-handed pass on the wing, catch and shoot three, solo ball, high off the heel, no good. Cameron Boozer rises up the elevator for the rebound. Diagonal outlet for Caden, picked up defensively Ross, into the middle, Cameron drives, scoops it up, off the rim, no good on the left hand. Gungba got the offensive rebound, tried to whip it back to the point, it got deflected out of bounds. And Cameron Boozer is down here. Cameron Boozer is down behind the play. He was slow to get up, but he's gotten up now. And he walks over to the Duke bench as we get a media timeout with under 3 minutes to go in this first half. And the Blue Devils with a 19-point lead here in this East Regional Final. And Seth, as I said a moment ago, just changed the number now to 3 minutes. UConn really needs to win these last 3 minutes.
I think the phrase "danger zone time" comes to mind here. I tell you, this is, you want to talk about, and we got a long way to go, but you want to talk about if this holds. You want to talk about 4 teams who have just gone into the Final Four on a standing 8 count and knockout combined. I mean, this would be unbelievable. Hamlin and Elliott were battling through the lead through a cycle of pit stops, but the yellow is out with 89 laps to go.
Now, hold on. Now, oh my goodness, hold on now. The Vegas Golden Knights have fired Bruce Cassidy and hired John Tortorella? What are they?
Yes.
What are they doing? First off, what is with the hate for Bruce Cassidy? Boston treated him wrong. Vegas picked him up and, I don't know, just won a Stanley Cup with him the first year. Now they fired him for that John Tortorella character who hasn't won a thing in his life. Just likes to act tough. What are we doing? And I say we as a society. I'm not a Vegas Golden Knights fan. I don't root for anybody. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. But but what? How is that possible?
I'm not even a diehard hockey fan, and that just blew my mind. I want to get Jarek's thoughts on that.
No kidding. Yeah, let me send our.
But at halftime though, I'm making my schedule, and I can give it to you at halftime, because not a lot of games, so we're running low on content. But that will leak in all the way through to next Monday, if you're interested.
Okay.
Because the way my schedule works out, it has given me a chance to do a heck of a lot.
Just got a message. Not from Lone Star JR either. For the most part, this tournament has underwhelmed. Well, watch something else.
Oh boy, who would that be?
Yeah, that's someone.
Is it somebody I know?
No, someone in a group chat.
Oh, okay.
Coming out of this final media timeout of this first half, and Cameron Boozer does look to be okay. Last whistle that led to the timeout, he was on the floor and was slow to get up, but did get up under his own power, and he looks like he is fine. Every Duke fan in America and across the world breathes a heavy sigh of relief. That's the breeze you just felt. As play restarts, with Duke on the ball and up by 19. Isaiah Evans directs it right. Boozer throws up a lob for Evans. It's way too high. That's out of bounds by a mile, and a Duke turnover. Cameron Boozer, for just a moment, had a brain fade and thought he was teammates with Too Tall Jones, and I don't think he could have gotten that lob. Here's UConn into the front
About Wembanyama.
Yeah, there you go. That's the right sport, at least. Ryba at the other end, handoff ball. UConn needs a good last 2.5-minute run. Caravan, head fake, drives to the rim. Gungba got to him and met him at the summit and blocked it out of bounds. It'll stay with Connecticut. But Gungba with the good defensive play. Now, Duke with a double-digit lead here. They have lost double-digit leads this year, including in both of their losses to Texas Tech and North Carolina. Inbound to the top of the circle, collected by Jaden Ross. Backpedals beyond the arc. Foster defends, swings it right. Ball to the right elbow. Pull-up jumper was blocked from the side by Isaiah Evans. Sarr out of the pile with the ball. They do not have numbers. Sarr to a trailing Evans. He launches a left wing three. It's off the heel. Rebound down to Jaden Ross. UConn into the offensive end of the floor to our left. Dark blue uniforms, white numbers, white nameplates. Red trim on a stripe along down the side of their shorts. Here's Smith, steps back, left wing three, clatters off the cup, no good. Rebound found by Gungba for Duke. Neither team has taken their use it or lose it timeout so far in this first half. Foster handles the ball. Bounces it to the top of the arc, taken by Gungba. Gungba runs some clock, feeds it left on the elbow. Cameron Boozer has been so aggressive in this first half. Turns, faces, drives at Ross. They come at a double. He kicks it up top. Head fake Sarr. He'll drive. He's got ferocity in him. He goes to the rim and draws a foul with the shot clock inside of 3. Now, I'm telling you what now, Dame Sarr, when he goes at full flight like this, he can jackhammer it down. He did that once on Friday night. His only field goal was a highlight reel dunk against St. John's. Duke also lost double-digit leads in regular season games that they won against Arkansas and Georgia Tech and Florida State, as Sarr's first free throw is off the rim, no good. So they have lost double-digit leads this year, and as I mentioned, both of their losses came in games where they led by double digits. Interestingly enough, in games that they have trailed by double digits this year, they're 6-0, including 2-0 in this tournament. Sarr's second free throw skips off the rim, no good. He missed them both.
Real quick, do you know the Boozer twins as a twosome are outscoring UConn as a team?
They are. It's been a great start for Caden Boozer and Cam. It's a normal start for him. Mullins deposits the ball on the left wing to Malachi Smith with under a minute 20 to go in this half. Hemenia defends Smith. Now Sarr switches onto him. Smith bounce pass. Reed, who's back in. Backs it on Gungba. Kicks it out up top. Smith, straight drive into the paint. Sarr defends. He rises up, and Smith floats it home. He ended up getting a piece of Sarr, who ended up on the deck. Sarr's wondering why a foul wasn't called. But there was no foul, and the clock didn't stop either, as the basket went in just barely with over a minute left. So the clock inside a minute, and now Duke does take their use it or lose it timeout. And I think Dan Hurley's talking to an official out of the timeout. He thinks Sarr flopped. So you got Sarr wondering why a foul wasn't called against UConn. You've got Hurley asking why there wasn't a flopping foul on Sarr. Questions that I'm sure will go unanswered for the most part. 44-27 as Duke takes their use it or lose it timeout. By the way, we've gotten a response from our guy Lone Star JR. Says might snap them into contenders even with no goalie. Schmid has won a game 6 and game 7 in goal. I mean, might snap them into a contender. I mean, again, right now they got a playoff spot. They're not playing overly well at the moment, but, you know, there's going to be stretches where you don't play well in an 82-game season. Their last 2 games have both gone to overtime. They're not playing badly. What do I know? John Tortorella. I'm sure that'll be the answer.
So, I've had to play the role of referee in a certain group chat.
I don't know what that group chat would be.
It
By the way,
has something
to
do with this particular game. You can figure it out.
By the way, let me correct something that I said earlier while I'm on camera. Let me correct. I said John Tortorella hasn't won anything in his life. I get it. He did win a Stanley Cup. It's 23 years ago. I mean, it counts for something, but it's 23 years ago as well. But I just wanted to correct that while I was on camera, because I went too far. That was too far from the Thu, as some people call me for some unknown stupid reason.
The what?
The Thu.
The food?
Yes, that would be the back half of my first name.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, that's so lame. Who would be dumb enough to call you that?
Who would be dumb enough to call me the mayor of Indianapolis?
I'm calling you the Thu.
No, you don't.
By the way,
you call me the other thing.
Speaking
Move on.
Speaking of bingo cards and whatnot, I don't know if you listened last night. We got a These United States from JT.
Oh my God, no! Of course we did. Bless him.
Ross Chastain control car. He leads in the restart as they head down the backstretch with 78 to go.
Something has happened
Back
here.
to you in the tower.
Yeah, something has happened here right out of the timeout. Duke had not and an offensive foul called on Caleb Foster. Before the inbounds pass, he was trying to get space inside. And
got him scattered, smothered like Waffle House over there coming out of turn 4. Somebody did something, and about 6 or 8 of them. Or in Hocevar's one of them. Bubba's completely destroyed.
And we've got an official review.
That Hardee's burger is smushed.
Foster shoved Smith before the inbounds pass. He was trying to set a hard screen, and he set a screen that was really hard. So that's an offensive foul on Foster for sure. Now they've gone over to the monitor to see if it should be upgraded at all, and honestly, you can make a case for that to be a flagrant on Foster. Gene Steratore, I'm sure, agreeing with the officials, whatever he says on CBS.
Well, you've fallen into that camp, huh?
Just don't see why that position in sports media is necessary, but anyway, they've just given the verdict, and we will try to... It doesn't look like that they have called... they have not upgraded it, so it's an offensive foul on Foster. Not upgraded, though, and play will restart. Foster and Duke might have gotten away with one there. UConn inbounds, final 50 seconds of this first half. And it's Jaden Ross into the front court. Slings it up top for Malachi Smith. Ryba, the big man, on the floor rather than Reed, and Ryba gets it up top. He hands off for Mullins. Gungba on him. That's a mismatch. Centered for Smith. Directed off the left wing. Jaden Ross. Smith again. Zigzags. Changes direction. On him defensively is Evans. Skipped inside. Ryba now has Evans defending. That's a mismatch. And Ryba goes in and hooks it up and home. Final 20 seconds, first half. UConn trailed by 19. Now it's a 15-point difference. Duke will look for the final shot of the half. Foster muscles his way into the front court with Smith right on him. Foster pivots to his right of the March Madness logo with 6 seconds to go in the half. Feeds Gungba. Gungba turns, fakes a handoff. He's going to have to shoot it. He does for 3. It's off the front of the rim, no good. And that's the end of the first half. Into the first half here in Washington, D.C. Duke leads UConn by 15, 44-29. The halftime count. UConn did get a couple of big baskets there at the end of the half to at least cut into the margin, but it was all Blue Devils in that first 20 minutes. And let's give you some facts and figures from the first half. Duke shot 52% from the field to UConn's 35%. Three-point shooting Did not go UConn's way. Duke was 5 of 11. UConn was 1 of 11. From the foul line, UConn hit all 4 that they took. Duke was 9 of 12 from the stripe. Duke was +9 in rebounding. 22-13, they out-rebounded Connecticut. 8 offensive rebounds for the Blue Devils, 7 for the Huskies. Turnovers were just about even. Duke 5, UConn 4. 7 Duke points off of those 4 UConn turnovers. Points in the paint dead even at 16. Of course, the fouls were a huge story. 10 fouls on UConn, 4 against Duke. Duke got into the bonus pretty quickly, took advantage at times. Duke led for 92% of the first half. UConn, the one lead they held, accounted for just 4% of the half. Leading scorers, 3 players in double digits. 2 of them are on the Duke squad, and they're brothers. Cameron Boozer with 14. Caden Boozer with 13. For UConn, they're led by Terrace Reed, who had 12 points early. He had 12 of their first 16, and they did not score any of their last 13 points. The 1 3 they hit was from Malachi Smith. Halftime in Washington, D.C., Duke 44, Connecticut 29. 20 minutes from a trip to the Final Four for a second year in a row is John Shire's Duke University Blue Devils. I will hand you off to Seth Eves, who will read you scores or schedules or something. He'll do that without me for about 2 minutes, and then I'll rejoin.
All right. Well, okay. Well, mainly quick, because I do want to get your thoughts on the earlier game today and other things going on. So do hold that, but it is Doll Duke, 44-29 at halftime. Last Final Four piece to be handed out here between the winner of this one, between the Huskies and the Blue Devils. As seen earlier today on the channel, another onslaught for the behemoth that is Michigan. Their 35th win of the year ends a great run by 6-seeded Tennessee. 95-62, Michigan rolls. 27 for Yaxel Lindeborg. And Tennessee will have to wait another year to break that elusive Final Four duck. But it's Michigan who moves on to play Arizona. Good God, what a box office game that'll be on Final Four Saturday. The Women's Elite Eight got started today, and the 2-1 seeds prevailed. UConn went to 38-0 with a 70-52 win over Notre Dame. Hannah Hidalgo, a valiant effort at defeat, 22 points and 11 rebounds. But 21 from likely National Player of the Year, Sarah Strong, puts the Huskies in there. And UCLA won another game by double digits, but the score is a bit that's a bit of a misleading deal. 35th win of the year takes Corey Close's team to its second straight Final Four. They beat Duke 70-58. Lauren Betts with 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks. UCLA will play the winner of the Monday night of tomorrow's Michigan-Texas game, while UConn gets either TCU or South Carolina. That's what's happening in the college basketball world. In NASCAR land, Ross Chastain is your leader at Martinsville as they get set for a restart that will come with 69 laps to go in the event. NBA action going on this Sunday evening. Indiana leads Miami 74-64 the second quarter. Sacramento and Brooklyn are playing for some reason. That will come your way that's a 6 o'clock game. That should be starting soon. Also Boston at Charlotte, Orlando at Toronto, Washington at Portland. Also later tonight, Houston's at New Orleans. The Knicks and the Thunder and Golden State at Denver. One final today. The Clippers beat the Bucks 127-113. As we reported earlier in the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights have parted ways with head coach Bruce Cassidy. John Tortorella now takes over for the Golden Knights as they get ready for the stretch run and fight for the Stanley Cup in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 3 games in progress right now on this NHL Sunday. Nashville and Tampa Bay scoreless in the second. Also in the second, Carolina leads Montreal 1-0, 26th goal of the year for Andrei Svechnikov, and Columbus is leading Boston 3-0 in the second. 2 games still to face off later tonight. Chicago at New Jersey and Dallas at Philadelphia. One final today, the Rangers beat the Panthers 3-1 at Madison Square Garden, as the two-time defending Stanley Cup champs now are on the verge of elimination, and I'm sure some people are not too upset about that development. Major League Baseball, the opening weekend concluding. One game still to play tonight. That's Cleveland at Seattle. Earlier today, Kansas City avoided the sweep by beating Atlanta 4-1. Pete Alonso got his first RBI as an Oriole. Baltimore beat Minnesota 8-6. Texas took the series from Philadelphia after an 8-3 win. Toronto beat the A's 5-2, a sweep for the Blue Jays. Eugenio Suarez mashed a home run as Cincinnati beat Boston 3-2. Miami walked off Colorado 4-3, a sweep for the Marlins. Also avoiding the sweep was Pittsburgh. They beat the Mets 4-3 in 10 innings. The Astros beat the Angels 9-7. 9-7 also the final in Milwaukee, where the Brewers went to 3-0. 6 of those runs came in the 8th. And Tampa Bay beat St. Louis 11-7. What a day for Yandy Diaz. He had a career-high 5 hits and drove in 4 runs. And the Nationals took the series over the Cubs 6-3. Was how that ended up at Wrigley Field. And let's see. Soccer, Tottenham Hotspur, the Walking Dumpster Fire, the Walking Mean Club, supported by that damn bastard Jack Owl, have
You can't say that about people that we know because they don't know that. They don't know the joke.
Damn. I'm sorry.
He has to know the joke first.
He does. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure he's following something race-related.
Sure
He's probably on Twitter. On Twitter, analyzing refereeing decisions. So
right.
He must be like a referee or something. Anyway, the point we're making here is that Igor Tudor has been sacked at Tottenham. That club just cannot get out of its own way. What a tragedy. All right. So, Matthew.
We don't pull for anyone around here, though, do we?
You said that. You said that you don't root that. I didn't say anything about me. Let's get that out of the way, mister. In all seriousness, though, thoughts on the first game of the day? I think it's pretty simple. A great run by Tennessee, but they just ran into a dialed-in buzzsaw in Michigan.
Yes, that is correct. And the game was horribly officiated in the first half. We touched on that on air. And even though the game was horribly officiated, you can't complain about it if you're Tennessee when you start 6 of 30 from the field. But no, that was terrible officiating. Good gracious. Michigan is a wagon. Next week in Indianapolis, they will collide with another wagon. Stay out of the way of those two wagons meeting on the road.
Can I just say this? If Duke hangs on, Michigan-Arizona is going to be the most anticipated and exciting early semifinal in Final Four history.
Oh, I think it'll be the second one. I do.
You think it'll be the second even if Duke wins?
I feel like it will.
You are the sports media guru
I could be wrong. I feel like it will, but like I said, could be wrong.
We will defer to as the sports media expert here. We will defer to you. Our version of James Trainer. But anyway, minus the Larry David and Seinfeld references. By the way, Matthew, Tennessee got 21 from Jacoby Gillespie.
It's true. There's something else too that to be serious about this game for a moment. There is one thing that I mentioned earlier. Pierre called the game, and I was on with him. And there is one thing that I mentioned during.
Yeah, he can't do that anymore if Tennessee's in the Elite Eight.
One of the timeouts. No, we can't do it a fourth time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
President Bush.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary Woodland won the. That's what I was missing. He won the Texas Children's Houston Open.
Can we stop with the children's titles, by the way? Today we had
Okay,
the
okay.
Texas Children's.
Yeah, is that not the stupidest name for a
Yes,
race?
it's the Texas
Children's of Alabama.
and the Children's of Alabama with the apostrophe S, and apostrophe S signifies possession. The children do not own the hospital. It is a children's hospital, which means it's a pediatric hospital. Can we stop with that? Children's of Alabama and the Texas Children's, please?
You'll be stunned to know Alex Palou won that race,
Yeah,
by
they
the
sure
way.
did. Yeah,
Alex
anyway.
Palou might just won them all. But anyway. He just about did last year, to be honest. But continue on here. I know you're trying to make a point.
Yeah, eventually I'll get there. When Michigan, and they have played some tight games this year, not a lot, but next week when they meet an Arizona team that is as good as them, as tough as them, as deep as them, are they going to be able to keep their composure? Because Michigan likes to feel themselves. And Yaxel Lindeborg, after a Sweet 16 win, said this was the greatest Michigan team ever. And today there's chippiness in the second half of a blowout game. Now you expect Tennessee to be emotional about it. They're getting killed in, a regional final with a trip to make the Final Four.
Jalen Carey has a knack of doing that when his team's already lost the game,
right?
i.e.
He
the
does.
First Kentucky game.
Yeah, and we mentioned that too. But I just wonder if they're getting frustrated by Arizona next week. Are they going to keep their cool? Because I guarantee Arizona will keep their cool. Tommy Lloyd, he'll have his team under control. Just wonder if Michigan can.
We shall see. It's going to be just... it's going to be... it's going to be one hell of a Final Four with 3 1s and a 3 that, well... If I may say it, from a certain Final Four, it was in Indianapolis almost 30 years ago. A certain analyst that you just quote-unquote love said this. That was the year where we had 3 1s. Kentucky, Arizona, and Minnesota. No, not Arizona. Kentucky, North Carolina, and Minnesota were all 1s, and Arizona was a 4. And James goes over to William, and William says, we got 3 number 1 seeds, but Arizona, the way they've been playing, they belong as a number 1. Well... I get what you're trying to say there, but that's not how this works. But, so, that was my way of saying, if Duke hangs on, it's 3 1s and then a number 3 that's playing like a number 1. But yes, they belong as a number 1. Well, Billy, you could have worded that better.
This has been an underrated, stupid halftime.
That's how many of them we've had now that we're calling ones underrated now. My God.
That's exactly right.
All right, let me get ahead of the schedule here because we're going to lose complete because we're the madness slows down. The basketball March Madness slows down, but our madness does not. Tomorrow night, 9:00 Eastern. I put Sweet 16 like an idiot. It's the Elite 8, you dumb F. But anyway, it's the final piece to the puzzle of the Women's Elite 8. You're wondering, why am I taking that game? And you'd be right to wonder that, but I'm just trying to compensate for doing all the men's games and not doing as much women. That's why I usually do 2 second-round games and at least 1 regional final. So we'll have, or in this case, Elite 8 game. I'm not calling these regional finals. That's not what they are.
They're not regional finals. They're not.
They can sell it to me all they want to, but it's not it. Anyway,
TCU
finals. A quadrant. TCU in South Carolina. That'll be coming your way tomorrow night at 9:00. Tuesday, we got hockey back. Philadelphia Flyers take on the Washington Capitals. Wednesday night, we got a couple of events. At 9:00, it's NHL as the St. Louis Blues take on the LA Kings. And then NBA returns as the San Antonio Spurs visit the Golden State Warriors. Thursday, we got a great slate for you. It starts at 7 Eastern with action from the NHL as the Detroit Red Wings visit the Philadelphia Flyers. Then at 8 o'clock, we've got NHL, the Vancouver Canucks and the Minnesota Wild. And then also on Thursday night, we've got both semifinals from the men's NIT, New Mexico and at 7, all by Illinois State at Auburn at 9:30. And ahead of the upcoming World Cup, which... Are we sure it's going to be won by these United States after yesterday?
Did you see what happened with the shirts in that game?
that governing body doing something incompetent. What color me shocked.
Who is about to get fired on that front? Oh my goodness! Glad I wasn't calling
Somebody.
that game. If I was calling that game, I'd quit. I'd be like that announcer at that soccer game in Italy a couple years ago. I'd walk off. I'd leave my microphone on, but I'd walk off. I ain't calling that game.
Would you be like Sean Salisbury, the Florida lacrosse announcer?
I wouldn't do that.
Good. Good Friday. It's going to be a good Friday. We'll have Coventry against Darby County. Our soccer coverage is returning is what I was trying to get at with that. The championship, Coventry getting ever closer to promotion. They'll host Darby in an all-Midlands clash. Also, Friday night at 7 Eastern, it's NHL. The Flyers are on Long Island to face the Islanders. And we'll have both of the women's national semifinals from Phoenix, Arizona. 7 o'clock and then roughly 9:30 or thereabouts. Saturday, it's two magical things happening. First, the FA Cup quarterfinal action from Stamford Bridge, where League Two Port Vale visit Chelsea, who belongs as a League Two team based on recent form. Thank you, Billy, for that analysis. And then it'll be the men's Final Four, the national semifinals, my favorite event of the entire year, both as a fan and as a broadcaster on this platform. No offense to the Indianapolis 500, it is great, but this is mine because it's the sport I love most, and it's the one that got it all cranked up. Sunday is loaded. We start at 11:30 a.m. with another FA Cup quarterfinal, West Ham against Leeds. Then at 1 o'clock, it's NHL action as the Wild meet the Red Wings from Detroit. At 3 o'clock, we've got the Women's National Championship game. At 3:30, we've got NHL Boston, Philadelphia. And then at 8 o'clock, we got the Men's NIT Championship. And a mad week concludes Monday morning and night. April 6th, Monday, big game as far as the League One playoff race is concerned at 10 a.m. Bolton hosts Stockport County. And then at 8 o'clock, we cut down the nets and create a shining moment with the men's basketball national championship game. That's a lot of stuff, Matthew. What's your thoughts on all that? You ready to go?
That's a lot going on. We got more food on the table than we can say grace over.
That's a good one. Oh God. This feud's getting really good. In the chat, NBC golf sucks almost as much as you do in predicting 2 times this term. Tell me I'm crazy about this team not making the Final Four. I've seen this team play more than anybody. That's just too much.
I don't know what he taught. William Byron is in the top 5. I need that Master Denny Hamlin to take the lead.
That's an important position change for some people.
Come on,
And
Ricky.
Hamlin is stalking them.
Come on, Ricky, get him out. Get out of the way.
Oh, God, please.
Oh man, please.
I need Denny to win for a slightly more innocent reason than I'm thinking you need Denny to win.
Need that 43 car now. That's a Toyota in front of Chase. Need to help a fella Toyota brother out.
This is unbelievable in so many ways. Chastain's gamble to stay out is going to maybe get him a top 10 with the laps winding down.
Also need a camera on the battle for 5th. I hope there's not a battle for 5th.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't think there is a battle for 5th. Byron is like 9/10 ahead of Bell in the live scoring.
That would be great.
And he's 9/10 behind Gibbs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but there's Blaney actually about to pass Bell, and I'm sure Blaney probably has a good long-run car.
Yeah, by the way, who's more useless at their job, the federal government or Ryan Blaney's pit crew?
Oh, jeez. Eric Jones didn't help a Toyota brother out. Actually, he's hurting.
And that team's going to expand.
Yeah. Could you let him go,
Derek,
please?
Darius Rucker's got to be thrilled with this.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Holy.
With his involvement, I expect that shop to be moved to Charleston, South Carolina within 3 years. or Columbia.
Gonna need
And
Denny.
every car is going to have a garnet ring to it.
Gonna need Denny to channel his inner 20, whatever year that was, where he just bulldozed Elliott out of the way here.
2017.
Thank you all.
Blaney
Lord.
has got by Bell.
Yeah, Blaney got by him.
Now watch, you're not going to want Blaney. When you want Blaney to not get a position, he's going to.
Mm-hmm.
I could see how this movie's going to work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Denny Hamlin is closing in as Danny Suarez baby. Danny baby is
get out of the way.
And he just almost did.
Move. Get out the way.
Oh God! Oh, where's the late Bobby Hamilton with that?
I'm sure a
Bobby
song.
Hamilton, ludicrous.
Yeah,
that is a.
I'm sure a song that Bobby Hamilton loved. I can imagine him just jamming out to that song. Actually, I can imagine Bobby Hamilton jamming out to any song.
Bobby Hamilton, yeah, a Brooks and Dunn song maybe. That's about it. Elliott is only 3/10 ahead of Hamlin. Any particular reason we're off of this? Brad Keselowski
Getting ready.
will not win his 600th start.
Getting ready for the start of the second half in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, we do have a basketball game we're supposed to be doing here.
Yeah, amazing. A Duke lead at the half by 15, 44-29. And I am extremely used to JT resetting the scoreboard at halftime. He's not here to do it this time. So, bear with me, everybody. As the second half does get underway with UConn inbounding. And the Huskies with possession, trailing by 15. Silas Demery gives the ball up top to Terrace Reed, who scored 12 of UConn's first 16 points. They get it into him. He spins and kicks it out to the left corner, and Demery's open for three. It misses, and the rebound down to Duke. Dame Sarr pulls it away, and here come the Blue Devils back into the front court. Sarr hands off in the right corner. Evans centers for Brown. Caden Boozer comes out for it. Now reverses it. Cameron, he'll drive in from the left. Goes in at Reed. Layup is blocked. Ball on the floor. Cam dives out for it. Reed dives out for it. So too does Mullins. Whistle blows and they call it a jump ball. Possession arrow will keep it with Duke. So Duke will keep possession. I don't know how JT does this. God almighty. How do you get it to the second half? There we go. Caden Boozer to inbound from underneath. He does to Cam, cutting into the rim. Goes up and lays it in. More Cameron Boozer points. And Duke's lead is up to 17. About a minute gone in this second half. 16 points for Cameron Boozer to go along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists. And we've got a foul at the other end of the floor. It's on Duke. Duke only had 4 fouls called on them in the first half. Malik Brown, trying to keep Reed from making a catch in deep, got called for the push.
Update, we've now reached the portion of the feud with CJ where he got upset that the Reds took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox.
Inbound Mullins gives it up, left wing 3, ball no. Offensive rebound snatched by Reed, who goes back up with it, and he scores off glass with the right. 46-31. And Reed with his first field goal in about 14 minutes of game time. He's got 14 for the game. Cameron Boozer up high. Evans sets a screen. Cam, a downhill drive, gets in, draws. No, it's an offensive foul called on Cameron Boozer here. So Cam Boozer on the drive, and he kind of lowered the shoulder into the chest of Demery. That's a good call. Offensive foul and a Duke turnover. UConn back into the front court. 15 points they trail by here. Solo ball threads a bounce pass. High post right is Reed. Back to the perimeter. Demery. Entry feed for Reed, and we get another foul on Brown, as again he was trying to deny the entry feed to Reed, And Brown has picked up 2 quick fouls here to start the second half. And as I said, Duke only committed 4 fouls in the entire first half. They've been called for 3 in the first minute 45 or so of the second half here. UConn inbound out to Demery. Slashes to his left at the top of the key. Brown picked up his 3rd. Given up to Mullins, who drives in. Scoops it up with the right hand. It rolls off the back of the rim. No good. Rebound, Caden Boozer. Jetting into the front court. Sets the offense for Duke. Cam a screen. Caden a downhill drive to the rim. And he got a hand on it to knock it away. But we've got a whistle. And have they called a foul on that is the question. They did. Foul is called in the act of shooting. And it's against Demery. So Caden Boozer will shoot at the line. And he knocks down his first. Chase Elliott not going to be caught by Denny Hamlin, it would seem. Disappointing to, well, me. Good for nothing, Denny Hamlin. Need him to win, he never does.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
One more for Caden at the line. And he hits the second. Duke's lead up to 17. Their largest lead of the first half was at 19 points. 11 of 14 from the foul line here is Duke after struggling from the line on Friday night. Demery up top, Reed, connected on Caravan, flex to the left wing, Mullins, fakes the 3, drives in, comes to the baseline, takes the mid-range jumper and makes it. Braylon Mullins, he is going to be a heck of a Husky for years to come. Freshman out of Greenfield, Indiana that missed games early in the season with injury. Has gotten better as the season's gone on. Now here's Sarr, bounce pass Boozer, left of the lane. Entry feed, Caden up with a lob, and over the top, Patrick Gungba slams it down. Boozer to Gungba. 50-33. Demery into the front court. Slides to his right on the arc. Cameron Boozer defends. Caravan trying to get open. Sarr won't allow that, but we've got a whistle and a foul away from the ball, and this is on Duke as well. And if there is a way back into this game for UConn, perhaps it's at the foul line. Duke has now been called for 4 fouls already in this second half. And if UConn could get into the bonus quickly, could maybe get free throws to get them back into the game. Inbound out of the left corner for Demery, whose bounce pass hit a foot and goes out of bounds. UConn will try to inbound again. From underneath this time, the trigger in. And out of the short corner on the left, baseline jumper is good from Mullins. And a foul is called on Evans. And Mullins has a chance to complete a 3-point play. Yeah, Evans trying to contest that jumper and needlessly slapped him across the arm. And Mullins will go to the line. And one free throw is good. UConn within 14. Caden Boozer will dribble it up the floor. Right-handed dribble across the timing line. Mullins squares him up defensively. Caden a bounce pass threaded to the top of the circle for Gungba. Gungba out to Cameron Boozer, who was open on the left wing. Passed up a 3. Tries to back it on Mullins. They blitz him with a triple team. He kicks to the right corner. Caden catches. Drives baseline. Kicks left corner. Cam's open. His 3 up. Left it short. Sarr up for the rebound. Couldn't collect it. UConn's got numbers in transition. The other way into the rim. Demery gets the bounce pass from Ball. And Demery scores. And here comes UConn. It's down to a dozen. Here's Duke back into the front court. Caden Boozer accelerates to the rim. Righty layup is missed. And the rebound, Connecticut. Caravan in transition to Mullins. Shoveled back. Caravan left wing 3. No. Missed it short. Gungba standing in the far corner is there for the rebound. That would have been a huge momentum switcher there. And Caravan stepped in and drilled that. Duke by 12. Caravan yet to score in this game. He's missed all 6 shots that he's taken. Cameron Boozer on the March Madness logo at midcourt. Evans out for a screen. They love this play. Boozer a straight on 3. Short. Rebound down to Mullins. UConn with another chance to cut into this deficit. It's Demery the other direction. Changes direction to his left. He's at the top of the key. Gives it up for Reed. Gungba defends. Reed handoff. Caravan backpedaling. Feeds it ball. Left wing off to Reed. Running start at Gungba. Reed gets stopped, tries to go up strong, and Evans from the side blocks it. Caravan recovers. Kick right corner. Demery open 3, no. Rebound off the floor. Caden Boozer scoops it up in transition. It's Sarr to the rim. Finger roll layup in transition. Dame Sarr in transition gets 2. 52-38. Duke leads by 14. 5 minutes gone. 15 left to fire in the second half. Braylon Mullins up high. Turns it right. Demery looks left, now loops it in for Reed. Reed a bat down on Gungba, turns left with a hook. It misses, but a foul is called on Gungba, and that will lead to a timeout. Good start to this second half for UConn, as they've cut the margin to 12. 14:51 left here. And Seth, do we have a winner in Martinsville?
Yeah, the 9 car.
That's great. Thanks for nothing, Denny.
I think Byron held on for top 5 though.
Well, that's good. Oh, Dennis. Always chokes when it matters the most to him and me.
Oh, lordy.
Anyway, Seth, what are you going to update us on? Anything? Is
That's
there much going on?
I'm not really. Like, I'm watching Mississippi State and Ole Miss baseball.
Wow.
That's is that egg baseball? Yeah, wow.
They should throw out eggs. They should pitch eggs.
See, your problem with that is you're gonna get some fool do that, and they're actually gonna try to throw an egg like at one of the players in that rivalry. So that might not be the best strategy. But I guess you got the Sunday night game on Peacock, Guardians and Mariners. I know you just loved hearing Tom Hamilton back, but and then
Been doing
we
it
got
a long
that
time.
Knicks and Thunder. What now?
He's been doing it a long time.
Yes, he has. Knicks and Thunder. Do I really need to see this? Greatest team of all time. Win 2 more games before you make that claim, son. but I'll say this, though. I kind of think this is Arizona's best team ever. I think this is better than the 97 team. They were in the regular season without question. And school record in wins with that win last night.
Free throws for Terrace Reed out of the timeout. I'm catching up on messages. Reed's first free throw is good. 52-39 our score here. And Reed misses the second, and it's rebounded by Dame Sarr. And here comes Duke up the floor. Cameron Boozer to Patrick Gungba up top, now fed along off the right wing for Caden Boozer. Caden had a big first half. We've got contact away from the ball and a foul going against UConn here as Gungba ended up on the deck. And they're not saying who that foul was on. Now, there it is, Malachi Smith called for the foul. Both of these teams with plenty of Final Four trips in their past. UConn is 7-6 all-time in Elite Eight games. Duke with a tremendous Elite Eight record of 18-7. Inbound from underneath. Up top to Gungba. Fed right, Hamenya. Entry feed, Cameron Boozer. They come at him with a double as Reed helps Caravan. Boozer passes out of it underneath. Gungba takes the pass, and then Malachi Smith, trying to rip it out of his hands, is called for a foul. Be 2 free throws for Gungba, who does struggle from the free throw line, really struggled from the foul line Friday night. He airballed a free throw against St. John's. He's a better free throw shooter than that. He doesn't airball free throws often. He's under 70%, so he's not great, but he's better than airballing one. See what he can do here for 2. He misses the first off the back iron. Sophomore from Manassas, Virginia, missed the ACC tournament and the first-round game of this tournament against Siena with soreness in his right foot. He has suffered with injuries in that foot as a high school player. Hits the second free throw, and it kept him out his freshman year at Duke. UConn back with the ball. Caravan, who is scoreless on the day, swings it left for Ross, who helped it onto the wing for Smith. Smith, a right-handed dribble. Cameron Boozer defends. Centered ball, Caravan on the deck. Drives at Sarr. Knifes it back outside. Smith hits the breaks top of the circle. Pivots. Bounces it inside. Reed backs in on Gungba. Goes up. Gungba blocked it, but a foul is called. Another foul going against Duke, and UConn is in the bonus here with 14 minutes left in the second half. So for the last 14 minutes of this game, every common foul called against Duke will send UConn to the free throw line. Terrace Reed goes there here, 60% for the season. First one here is off the rim and in. Third foul on Gungba. And that's 3 fouls on both of Duke's big men, Gungba and Brown, each with 3. Reed's second free throw, once again, goes off the front lip and in. 53-41. Blue Devils on the trigger end. Caden Boozer accelerates into the front court, deposits it into the right corner for Hemenya. Up top for Cameron Boozer, around the horn this way. Caden, Cam a screen. Caden reverses it. Cam in deep, and he goes right by solo ball and dunks it down, gliding to the rim for a two-handed slam. 55-41. Malachi Smith, the other direction for UConn. Cam Boozer out on the perimeter defending. Off to Caravan up top. He shovels it. Reed to the rim. Reverse layup. He got around Gungba, and the reverse is good for Reed. And again, when they are going into Reed, and Duke's not doubling, Reed is unstoppable. 12-point first half. 7 so far in the second. Cameron Boozer with the ball again. Pivots and swings it left for Caden. Pass up top for Gungba, stolen by Reed, who's behind the back in transition, and he dunks it down. Reed with a steal and a dunk, and now it's a 10-point game here with 13 minutes left. 21 for Reed. Caden Boozer at the other end of the floor for the Blue Devils. Attacking to our left, white uniforms, royal blue numbers and trim. Caden Boozer outside left. Cam a screen. Caden to Hemenya. Entry feed Cam. Going to try to back down Reed on his own. Double comes. Cam shovels it up, and it's off the back of the rim. No good, but Reed is called for the foul. It'll be 2 at the line for Cameron Boozer. Terrace Reed Jr. trying to single-handedly change the complexion of this game on both ends of the floor. That was not a good pass by Caden Boozer, but it also wasn't good effort from Gungba to come and meet the pass. That foul on Reed is his third, so now the big men that are going to determine this game, Reed for UConn, Gungba and Brown for Duke, they all have 3 fouls. Cam Boozer's first free throw hits nothing but net. Malik Brown does check back in for Duke. Caleb Foster is also in. Those two replace Caden Boozer and Patrick Gungba. Boozer looking for his 20th point here at the foul line. He had 22 on Friday here, but that skips off the rim and misses. Rebound down to the Huskies. So Malachi Smith brings it into the front court for UConn as they have cut what was once a 19-point deficit down to 11. Smith outside right directs it for Caravan. Back for Smith up top. Caravan screens. Sarr switches on to Smith. Entry feed Reed. Couldn't handle the pass cleanly. He bounces it across the lane, and Caravan goes up and lays it in for 2. First points for Caravan, and now it's a 9-point game. UConn's gotten it to a single-digit deficit. Foster, downhill drive underneath the cylinder, turns, kicks it out to the right corner. Hemenya up top for Brown, now Foster again. 12 minutes to go in regulation time. For Duke fans, the clock feels like it's stuck in quicksand right now. Foster up top, late clock. He'll drive in from the right, go to the rim, layup, no. Rebound snatched by Reed. UConn with a chance to cut into it even more. Ball brings it into the front court, right-handed dribble, hands it off, taken by Smith. Cam Boozer switches onto him. Up top ball, straight away a three. It's off the heel, rebound up for grabs. Caravan trying to chase it down and save it. He does to Reed. Caravan's into the UConn bench. Gets back onto the floor. Ball resets the offense to Smith. Caleb Foster defends. Dan Hurley has his feet out onto the court as he wants his team to run a play. And I don't know if they realize what he called, but it slipped into Reed to the rim to dunk it down. And it's a 7-point game. UConn fans being heard for the first time today. See if John Shire might use a timeout here. He doesn't. Yeah, he does. Timeout Duke. Timeout taken by the Blue Devils. And UConn has started to turn things around. 7-point game here in the final 11 minutes for a spot in the Final Four.
These two people have picked a hell of a time to join the Discord box.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Matthew, do you want me to take over scoreboarding for you?
Please.
Are you okay, Matthew? You sound very out of breath.
He is not okay, Josh. I'll answer that question for you.
I just thought I'd hop in and say you boys missed an interesting cup race. I can't wait for you to catch up on it. And I think
we were following it. We were following it. So
I thought you were. Yeah. How's March Madness going?
For some fan bases, it's quite upsetting.
I can imagine. I've been watching a couple of bits of it when I've been doing the Formula 1 Japanese Grand Prix stuff. You guys have been on all night.
Yeah,
I know you have, because I get notifications when you come in the commentary boxes. Well, I'm going to disappear. I just wanted to say pleasure as always filling in on the cup side, and thank you for filling in on our side of things when we're not there. And I can't wait to call some races with you in a couple of weeks' time. Enjoy March Madness.
Yes,
and for some reason, Samuel L. Jackson getting things thrown in food.
Yes, indeed.
Little Miss Buckets, Caitlin Clark is getting involved there, so
I want popcorn now. I'm off on some popcorn. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Take
JB.
care.
It's now nice and quiet once again.
She can
Look at
she can fix me popcorn anytime. But anyway, all right. JT, run the scoreboard or talk, because Studio One at Cove is at the heavy breathing exercise portion of the situation. Oh my goodness. So how was NASCAR, JT? How did you enjoy yourself?
I led 200 laps of the commentary.
Nice.
It was busy, chaotic.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So out of this timeout with 11 minutes left, UConn has cut the lead down to 7. They've gone on a 16-6 run. And Duke inbounds, and Caleb Foster has the ball in his hands. Right-handed dribble, bounce pass top of the key. Malik Brown on the floor with 3 fouls. Looks to his right, dribbles that way. Hands off for Evans. Reed hedges. Evans has been quiet for much of the game. Directs it left for Foster. Late clock in for Cam Boozer. In the paint, creates space up with the left hand. He lays it in. So Boozer and Duke get important points out of the timeout. 10.5 left, 9-point game. Malachi Smith into the front court. Puts it into the hands of Caravan, who gives it up out of the left corner. Jaden Ross up top. Solo ball, weaves it right back to Smith. Smith, a right-handed dribble. Cam Boozer defends. Smith gives it. Caravan off a screen. Tried to get open from 3. Didn't pull the trigger. Gets it back from Reed. Timer at 4. Caravan, right baseline drive, goes up. Blocked by Hemenia. Reed got it back, but the shot clock hit 0. No, it didn't. It's stolen by Foster. They keep play going, and Foster in transition has it ripped away, and they're giving it to UConn! Well, they didn't call a shot clock violation, and they let Duke go in transition. Foster attacked. And UConn got back defensively. We get another timeout. This is a media timeout with under 10 to go. 9-point lead for the Blue Devils in D.C. They've led by as many as 19 in this game. They've given up double-digit leads this year. People say that and then just discard it as if it's meaningless information. Someone else talk. Okay. UConn's on a 16-8 run, as we've heard. JT, what'd you think about Martinsville? Chase Elliott won, I hear. How did Denny Hamlin lose?
Strategy. Yes. We had Bubba.
I am back. I just had to take care of an issue, but so.
We had Bubba Wallace being Bubba Wallace.
Oh. Well, look, Bubba's biggest fan even said he screwed up there, so that tells you all you need to know. Oh, don't forget, UFL tonight. Aviators versus Storm.
Who the hell are the Aviators?
A football team.
Yes, where do they come from? Okay. Are they from Ohio?
I do not know where the Aviators come from.
Might be from Ohio. They claim to be first in flight.
I think that's one of the relocated teams of the league.
I can tell you by a simple Google search, Columbus.
Columbus!
Yeah.
Wow. Do they have a cannon at their games for touchdowns?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's even beyond JT's depths there.
Yes, they do.
Oh my God! No, it wasn't.
No, they don't.
Beyond his depth grade. No, they don't. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Here they come. Here they go.
A Redbox commented, I don't know why I thought this game would be closer.
How about the boys from Greenwood, South Carolina on national TV next Sunday?
Oh, Dan Gavitt is here. He was in Houston last night with an air horn. After we had a horn malfunction.
Was that their solution?
That was their solution, yes.
Incredible.
Play restarts. And UConn brings the ball up the floor into the front court to our right. Handled by Mullins, who's back on the floor with 3 fouls. Caravan deposits it to Smith, who drives up the middle, layup, hangs on the rim and goes down. 58-51. Caleb Foster still on the floor here for Duke, and he brings it up. Steps to the right elbow, works inside, leaps into the lane, into traffic, he lost the ball. Taken away by Mullins, in transition, he pulls for 3, it's short. And Malik Brown with the rebound, what a missed opportunity. That is for UConn to cut into the lead. And
that was rushed.
Have not had their 3-point shooting in this game. At least to this point, they're 1 of 17. Foster right-handed dribble, swings it right. Brown on the perimeter, wanted to dart it inside for Evans. He couldn't get free, so instead it's to Jimena out wide on the right. Jimena on the deck, drives in, tries to back in on Mullins, hooks it up, and knocks it in. That's a big shot right there for Jimena, and that's a big swing in the last two possessions when UConn got a turnover and would have had an open run to the rim, you would think, but Mullins instead tried to pull up from three and missed. At the other end, Jimena scores. UConn ball. Malachi Smith, outside left, dribbles to his right. He's at the head of the key. Cameron Boozer switches on to him, off to Mullins, off a screen, three up here, and that's also no good. And Cam Boozer boxes out Terrace Reed in his first of the rebound. Caleb Foster brings it up before giving it up to Cam, who's across midcourt. Dame Sarr and Caden Boozer at the scorer's table, set to check in at the next whistle for Duke. Jimena high screen. Cam Boozer under a left-handed dribble. He's got Mullins on him, and he'll take him on. He knocks him down. They play on, and Boozer got to the rim, missed the layup. Brown's putback wouldn't go, but we've got a whistle. Foul going against UConn here, I think. I don't know how Cam got away with that. That should have been an offensive foul. Oh, my goodness. That is an offensive foul every day of the week.
Danny Hurley agrees with you.
And then he missed the layup, but Terrace Reed had his hands on the net as the layup went off. That's why Duke was wanting that basket to count. And it looks like they are counting that basket now. We have hit the under 8 timeout. They are counting that basket because Terrace Reed had his hands on the net as the ball was still on the rim. So that basket counts for Boozer and Duke to make it 62-51. So Duke gets away with highway robbery on that trip because that should have been an offensive foul on Cameron Boozer. He misses the shot, but they get the points anyway because Reed had his hands in the webbing of the net. So they are counting that basket, and Duke is up by 11, 62-51. I've said already a couple of times, Duke has lost double-digit leads in both of their losses this year to Texas Tech and North Carolina. They also lost double-digit leads in games in the regular season that they did go on to win against Arkansas and Georgia Tech. Remember, they lost a double-digit lead in the Final Four last year to Houston. Also remember, they gave up a big lead late, not a big lead, a sizable lead late the last time these two teams played in the tournament, Final Four game in 2004 in San Antonio. I say these things, and everyone just acts as if, that's so cute. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
A reminder that the road to the Women's Final Four continues tomorrow night at 9 o'clock as Texas Christian University faces the University of South Carolina.
That was almost Dawn Staley against her alma mater.
It was. Wouldn't that have been something?
Has TCU got a chance, Seth?
Do you want my politically correct network answer, or do you want my honest answer?
You can give me either one. I don't care. I can tell you they're a 13.5-point underdog.
Well, in the words of America's crew chief, that's going to be tough, though.
We're going to get all the 1 seeds go to, where's it at?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, that's right. Thank you. You said that earlier.
Yeah.
Thinking clearly right now, not an attribute.
Oh, clearly. Clearly you're not thinking clearly.
So, yeah. Okay. So, they do count that basket to make it 62-51 because, again, Reed's hands were in the webbing of the net as the ball was still over the rim. So with under 8 minutes to go, Duke leads by 11. UConn up the floor. And Malachi Smith handles the ball, swings it right, taken by Solo Ball, directed into the right corner. Caravan entry feed. Reed got behind Gungbo. We've got a whistle. A foul is called here. And I believe that's going to be on Gungba again, which would be his 4th. Yep, it is on Gungba. His 4th foul. He hasn't been able to stick with Reed for much of this game. Reed at the line. First free throw is good. 8th team foul on Duke. So UConn not yet in the double bonus, but they're just about there. And on the other end, UConn's only been called for 4 fouls. Reed's second free throw to make it a 9-point game. Pops off the rim and misses. Rebound down to Cameron Boozer. 62-52 as we play. As impossibly, there's still 7.5 minutes left in this game. Caden Boozer drives in from the right, lost the ball. Diving on the floor to pick it up is Solo Ball, and UConn's got it again off an empty trip from Duke. 10th Duke turnover as UConn has turned up the pressure defensively in this second half. Demery swings it to his left. Ball gets free. Pull-up jumper in the mid-range. No. Rebound batted. Safe from going out of bounds by Demery. Now it's at the head of the key for Ball. Gungba's defending. That's a mismatch for Solo Ball if he wants to take it. But now Caden switches on to him. Entry feed Reed. Backs in on Boozer. Spins left. Reed the good footwork. Gungba there to seal. Kick right corner. Free to fire. Demery hits the 3. Just the second of the game for UConn. 62-55. Here come the Blue Devils again with Caden Boozer. Standing on the edge of the March Madness logo at midcourt. Cam there to set a screen against Mullins. Now he gets it to Cam, who drives, kicks right corner. Free to fire for 3 is Himenia, and he pours in a huge answer. Freshman from Los Angeles coming up with one of the biggest shots he's hit this year. Now can Duke get down defensively here? Defense dominated in the first half. UConn's attacked here in the second. Demery, head of the key once again. Looks left, directs it that way. Ball turns the corner. Drive into the paint, spins left, flips it in the corner. Demery, another 3. It's good again! Demery bags a couple in a row. Timeout is taken by UConn. 6:06 left. 7-point game. They had only made 1 3 through the first 33 minutes of this game. Now they've hit 2 in a row. And UConn is alive and kicking in this East Regional Final in Washington, D.C. Seth, go ahead.
What if I had something? Mississippi State did finish off Ole Miss in baseball. First sweep since road sweep for Mississippi State in that series since the year 2019. Of course, no NASCAR next week because of the Easter break. So, well, no Cup Series actually. NASCAR is racing at Rockingham. Rick Pitino has signed an amended contract with St. John's. Becomes the second highest paid coach in the Big East behind the nut job that's coaching in this game.
Duke inbounds out of the timeout. 7-point lead off that Demery 3. Evans now trying to answer at the other end. It's a swirling miss. Rebound popped around, and Himenia got grabbed in the middle of the floor. It's a foul on UConn. It's on the floor, so no free throws. Hurley tried to hold in a response as long as he could and then let go a big come on. Boy, look at Cameron Boozer underneath his right eye. He has taken a beating underneath his right eye. That right eye is swollen. During a timeout, they took a Coke can, a cold Coke can, and put it along the eye. They inbound it to him. Mid-post left. Backs his way in on Reed. Tries to spin. Fadeaway jumper. It's short. Reed's got the rebound. UConn could cut into it even more on this trip. Solo Ball from the left of the March Madness logo at midcourt. Now comes back to the right. Himenia defends. Ball looks and feeds it to the top of the key. Caravan with an entry feed. Demery with Caden Boozer in front of him, and we've got a whistle and a foul. It's on the floor. It's on Duke. It's on Malik Brown. It'll be free throws for UConn, and it's Brown's 4th foul. And again, just trying to wrangle up Reed down low, and it's just mission impossible right now for these Duke big men. Both of Duke's big men have 4 fouls with still better than 5 minutes left. Brown and Gungba. 1-1, and Reed has missed the front end. That's critical. Haminia lassoed in the rebound. Dan Hurley just put his head in his hands off that miss. Duke's got to run good offense on this end. Boozer bounces it off right wing for Evans. Evans gets a screen from Boozer. In his grill defensively is Ross, and he commits a foul. Well, Evans was doing a lot of moving, shaking, dancing, and sashaying over there, and Ross was sticking with him, but when Evans faked the step back, he leaned into contact and got a foul. It's in the act of shooting. So it's 2 shots for Evans, who hit 2 jumpers early and has not scored since, for the guy that scored 25 on Friday. That's his 6th point as he knocks in the first free throw. Free throws are going to be huge down the stretch, and both of these teams are outside the top 200 nationally in free throw shooting. Percentage, that is. Ross goes to the bench after picking up the foul. Evans was huge down the stretch and came up with clutch plays in this building a couple months back against Michigan in the biggest regular season game of this college basketball season. He just hit the 2nd free throw there. Demery lets the ball roll all the way to midcourt before he picks it up to save time. 5 minutes left, 9-point game. Demery swings it right. Caravan on the wing into the corner. Mullins entry feed. And here's Reed backing in on Brown, who just picked up his 4th. Reed turns, dishes it off, and underneath ball, lays it in. This game is going through Terrace Reed right now. Ball with just his 2nd field goal. Reed gets the assist, his 3rd, to go along with 24 points. Caden Boozer for Malik Brown. Drifts left and hands off for Haminia. Haminia rockets a pass inside. Evans cutting to the rim. Layup misses. Reed rebounds it. Here comes Connecticut. Just over 4 minutes to go. Demery slides back to the middle of the floor. He's got Cameron Boozer defending. Demery off to Caravan. Drives, threads it. Reed to the rim. Lays it in. Terrace Reed is unstoppable. He's got 26. 5-point game. Down the stretch we go for the final spot in the Final Four. Caden Boozer up top for Duke, off the left elbow. Backpedals to the outside and gives it to Nicholas Haminia. Cameron Boozer coming out to get the ball. Boozer swings it left for Evans late in the clock. Evans slips and stumbles. He lost the ball. It's stolen. The other way, ball to the rim. Layup is good. Plus a foul. Final media timeout of this game. Solo Ball will have a chance at a 3-point play to make it a 2-point game. 3:42 to go.
Well, this is escalating quickly. Who's going to hold their nerve down the stretch here? A valiant effort for the University of Connecticut. Solo Ball is going to go to the free throw line with a chance to cut it to 2. So again, we remind you, a lot more basketball coming your way next week. Actually, later in the week. Thursday, tomorrow night, South Carolina, TCU, the Women's Elite Eight. Thursday, both semifinals of the men's NIT, New Mexico, Tulsa, Illinois State, Auburn. Friday night, both national semifinals of the NCAA women's tournament. Then Saturday, the men's Final Four,
Sunday, we'll have the Women's National Championship as well as the Men's NIT Final. And then a week from tomorrow, the Men's National Championship to have all the madness come to an end. But there is still a long way to go for the madness to be settled. We still have a lot to be resolved here in Washington, D.C. Oh, man. Folks, just hang on to the edge of your seats, folks. This was going to get wackier than Taylor Swift's Love Life used to be. Matthew, you better talk now because I'm out of words.
So you're going to have Ball at the free throw line to try to complete this three-point play. He'll make it a 2-point game here if he makes. And he's an 85% foul shooter. As you can see on your screen, Duke now is in the bonus. UConn is in the double bonus and have been for quite some time. Terrace Reed with 26 points has been the catalyst for UConn all game long, first half and second, and he has been unstoppable in this entire tournament and again today. Here's Ball, and one free throw is good, 67-65. Patrick Gungba is on the floor for Duke with 4 fouls. Both of Duke's big men have 4, he and Brown. Blue Devils have not hit a shot from the field in the last 3 minutes, and they're into the offensive end here, and Gungba gets an early touch before he swings it to Sarr off the left. Entry feed, Cam Boozer tries to back in on Caravan. He leaps into the lane through traffic. He shovels it up and knocks it down. They came with a double but did it late, and Cam Boozer scores 69-65. Tons of time left in this game. Caravan deposits it to Ball, who directs it off the left wing for Demery. Reed sets a screen. Demery puts it to Ball up top. A straight line drive up the middle. Layup missed. Gungba the back tap on the rebound, and it's taken by Hemenya. An empty trip that time from UConn. A big stop from the Duke defense when they needed it. Caleb Foster set to check in for Duke at the next whistle. Sarr entry feed to Boozer. Mid-post left. Not doubling him. Now they do. He whips it cross court. Hemenya right corner. Fakes a 3. Puts it on the net. Drives in. Off the glass. No. Loose ball. UConn's got it. Ball brings it back the other direction with 2.5 to go in D.C. Ball cuts right. He steps back. Holds on. Dishes it off on the left elbow to be taken by Reed. Shoveled back for Caravan. Caravan, as a fourth-year Husky, has done a lot of winning. He needs one more win to keep his career going to another Final Four. Top of the arc is Demery. He slashes. Hands off. Now they get it into Reed. He spins left. He spins right. They double him. Reed lost the ball. Demery throws up a prayer that hits the side of the glass, so it never hit the rim. It's a shot clock violation. Dan Hurley doubled over in pain at the side of that turnover. And they defended Reed beautifully. Maybe the best they've defended Reed all second half long on a single possession. You got 2:06 left. There are certain guys on the floor for Duke as well. If you're UConn, you think about fouling in situations like this because it would still be 1-1. There are shaky free throw shooters on this Duke team, and Caleb Foster, as great of a point guard as he is one of them. He's only a 60% shooter from the line. He brings it up here. Feeds it to Sarr off left wing. Sarr holds by his right hip, defended by Ball. Arms outstretched. Foul. Foul away from the ball. It's on UConn. Did they foul Gungba there? Not sure if they did it intentionally, but I think Caravan has fouled Gungba. That is going to send Gungba to the line. He wasn't trying to do it intentionally, but it will get Gungba to the line, 1-1 for a 68% free throw shooter. Foster to the bench. Patrick Gungba at the line, looks at the rim, bends the knees, free throw is good. Front end of a 1-1 hit for Gungba. Dan Hurley has taken his glasses off as he sits in a hunkered stance looking at a piece of paper on the UConn bench. Duke by 5, 1:51 left. These two have played instant classics in this tournament before. Evans to the bench. Perhaps that's just a breather for him. Gungba's missed the second. He missed it short, and Reed rebounds. Solo ball, make that Silas Demery into the front court for UConn. He drifts left and hands off for Mullins. Now it is to Ball up top with 100 seconds to go. Demery swings it off a screen. Caravan straight on three. Hasn't hit all day. He doesn't hit here. Offensive rebound in traffic ball. Sarr reaching at the ball to try to tie him up, but a foul's called. It's going to be free throws for Ball. Minute and a half to go. Sarr was trying to tie him up. Possession arrows with UConn there. So really, Sarr trying to tie him up is not something that he needed to do. Ball is nearly automatic from the line, as I mentioned earlier, and he has not missed today. If he hits two, it's a one-possession game. He was on the national championship winning UConn team 2 years ago. He's been in big moments. Oh my goodness gracious, he's missed the first off the back iron. We said at the open, you can just look at the faces of the players, the coaches, and the fans and feel the tension through them. Ball hits the second. Jaden Ross is back into the game for Connecticut. Ball takes a seat on the bench. 4-point game. And Cameron Boozer trying to get the ball inbounded through pressure. He does for Foster. It was nearly stolen by Mullins. Back for Cam Boozer. Then for Gungba, who will take a couple of strides forward and get into the front court. And they do not foul him. They, I guess, find it too early to do that, play that game. And John Shire from the bench takes Duke's penultimate timeout with 1:20 left. And Duke is going to have to withstand pressure on inbounds for the rest of this game, and that was their undoing in their Final Four game last year against Houston, and they made a lot of mistakes trying to inbound the ball against pressure Friday night against St. John's as well. They're going to have to do it cleanly here down the stretch. It's a game that's lived up to the hype, Seth.
Oh, has it ever? Oh, has it ever? And a reminder, our coverage shortly before 6 o'clock next Saturday night, the first men's semifinal of the Final Four. Then about 30 minutes after that, the second national semifinal. A week from yesterday, and then a week from tomorrow, it'll be the national championship game. One of these teams is heading for the Final Four. Who knows if they go to the championship? Matthew Owens, one thing is for sure. One blue blood is heading home, and another is heading for Indianapolis. And, well, let's just say the team that's in front, they have a good history in Indianapolis.
They do like to go to Indianapolis, Duke does. We mentioned earlier in the day Arizona won a national championship in Indianapolis in 1997. Duke's first title and most recent title happened at Indianapolis in 1991 and 2015, and there was one between those two as well in the great city of Indianapolis. 1 minute, 20 seconds remain in this East Regional Final. John Shire took that timeout with the shot clock at 18, so Duke will have plenty of time to put something together, and this was around the time of the game in this arena against Michigan, where they ran great offense and got Cam Boozer an open look at a three, which he nailed. Foster will inbound here for Evans, and it's a return to Foster, who will dribble left-handed, tucked inside the midcourt stripe, and then given for Boozer up top, and that shot clock is already down to single figures. Cameron Boozer looks to his right, wants to drive, he lost the ball, it's on the floor, UConn's got it. Terrace Reed away with the ball, and we strike the final minute of regulation time. A trip to the Final Four on the line over the next 52 seconds, and Caravan steps back a left wing three. Good! His first of the day has made this a 1-point game. Duke on the inbound. Boozer brings it up again. He looks over at John Shire, who calls out a play. Duke with one timeout left. A bounce to Gungba. Caravan defends. Gungba looks left. Swings it for Boozer. Gungba there to set a screen. Boozer to drive. He spins. He shovels it up and puts it in. 29 seconds left. A 3-point game. UConn has 2 timeouts left. Demery lets it roll, picks it up, into the front court, timeout taken, 27 seconds to go. Cameron Boozer now trying to get the Duke fan. That's as demonstrative as you'll see Cameron Boozer right there. Best player in the country just took it upon himself to drive into the teeth of this UConn defense that has been great in this half and score a tough, big basket. 27 seconds left. UConn just spent their penultimate timeout.
Well, with all due respect to Yaxel Lindeboard, Darius Acuff, Kingston Flemings, insert player here, that's why he's your National Player of the Year. And he might be, whoever did it might be the nicest person in the world. But I have got to have a conversation with the one person in ACC media that did not vote him Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Were we that obsessed with pity votes to do that? I mean, really? Are we that afraid of someone winning something unanimously? I mean, come on.
They put the clock to 27 and 2/10 seconds. UConn has many different routes they can take here. They can look for a quick 2, and if they do that, Terrace Reed would be the one to get that, and then they can extend the game out and foul, hope that Duke misses some free throws, which they're always capable of doing. Could also run a play to try to get a 3-point shooter open, whether that's Caravan or Mullins or Ball. Those would be your top 3 candidates to take a 3 in this situation. But with 27 seconds on the clock, would be hard to imagine that they would come down and bleed the clock that much and just take a 3. Remember, if it goes to overtime, Gungba and Brown each have 4 fouls. Caravan will inbound near side front court on the floor with Ball, Mullins, Reed, and Demery. They throw it into the backcourt, and Demery has it. Now he gives to Solo Ball. Clock ticks down towards the final 20 seconds. Ball bounces to the March Madness logo. It's Demery off the left. Cam Boozer defends with 15 seconds to go. Demery, they are bleeding this clock out. Caravan back for Demery. Now he'll drive, and he goes into the body of Boozer. Foul is called with 10 seconds left. Man, did they take a lot of time off the clock, but they still are going to get 2 free throws with time on the clock. Plenty of time. Cam Boozer with that incredibly swollen right eye after heavy contact up high earlier. Demery to the line, 81% for the season. He's got 2 shots to make it a 1-point game. If your heart is beating through your chest, you're only human. Demery misses the first. Around the rim and out. This game is still not over. Will they miss intentionally and try to get an offensive rebound and a look at a 3? Will they ask Demery to make this and extend it out with fouls and again hope for missed free throws? If you're Duke, if UConn's going to foul, and if you're Duke, you want the ball in the hands of Isaiah Evans, by far their best free throw shooter, second best percentage-wise in the ACC. Demery with a deep breath, the junior from Raleigh, the transfer from Georgia, makes the second. It's a 2-point game. 1 timeout left both ways. It'll be Sarr to inbound it. He runs the baseline. Oh, Cameron Boozer nearly lost it. He got it back to Sarr. Now it's to Caden Boozer. He threw it away. It's stolen by Mullins. Caravan. Mullins from just inside midcourt. Oh, he makes it. He makes it with 0.3 of a second to go. Mullins makes the heave. A miracle. An absolute miracle. There's time on the clock. Caden Boozer's pass was 0.3 of a second to go. UConn is taking the lead. An impossible sequence of events. They'll check the clock to make sure that there doesn't need to be more time on it. There'll only be about maybe 0.4. UConn has won this game. Duke does not have enough time to get up the court for a shot. It's UConn's first lead since it was 2-0. The freshman from Indiana, Braylon Mullins, has just hit one of the all-time shots. Duke trying to break the press and melt some clock, and Caden Boozer's pass deflected and stolen at midcourt. And in a second half where everything has gone UConn's way, Braylon Mullins has just hit a shot that we'll never, ever forget. .4 of a second to go. And Duke will have to go length of the floor in 0.4 of a second. And get off a shot. Foster will inbound. And they'll try to throw it into the front court. And Foster's long looping throw to our left is intercepted! And UConn has completed one of the great comebacks in tournament history! They down Duke! And the Huskies go to the Final Four! UConn wins it! An absolute stunner! The freshman Braylon Mullins with a shot that will live forever in the annals of time. And UConn goes to another Final Four. Dan Hurley takes them to their third Final Four in 4 years. And it's a loss that Duke will never get over. It's a loss that Duke will never live down. Much like last year's national semifinal against Houston, it's a loss that will never be forgotten in the proud history of this Duke program. For Dan Hurley and UConn, an all-time win. And Duke's season comes to an end with 3 losses by a combined 5 points. They led by 19, just as North Carolina did against VCU in the first round and lost. Duke led by 19 in the first half and by 15 at halftime. UConn wins 73-72. They advance to the Final Four, and the Final Four is set for next Saturday. UConn will play Illinois. Arizona will play Michigan. And an elite Final Four it will be. For everyone here, Matthew Owens signing off from Washington, D.C. UConn 73, Duke 72 is the final score. The Huskies go to the Final Four. Their third Final Four in the last 4 years. As the Blue Devils, with a stunning collapse down the stretch,